Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Or not, it's Wednesday. It's Tuesday. It's one of those days, everybody. But welcome back, anyways, to Fangirlz Assemble, aka Fangirl Assemble, because it is just me and I have assembled. I'll be here today at 5 and tomorrow at 5. And then back to regularly scheduled programming on Sundays. How's everybody doing today? I figured, because it came up on Sunday, that maybe an interesting topic would just be to talk about some recommendations for people who maybe are curious about DC Comics, who but don't know really how to get in, or looking for like books to recommend to others. What are some good like jumping on points? Because it is overwhelming. Also, excuse how crazy my makeup looks right now. I just realized that because I made it all up for Omar's dad's funeral today, and then I cried it off so fast. But before we jump into that, we do need to talk about our lovely sponsor, InStockTrades.com, your source for awesome deals, up to 50% off your collected editions, sometimes more, especially if there's like a pick of the month or what have you. We actually have a pick of the week right now, I believe, unless it is now, so we just got lucky, but Monster Cats Volume 2 is up there. They'll also get us pick anyways. And if you spend $50 in the United States, you get free shipping. Can't beat it. I know you say you might be done with W for now, but look up Rhea Ripley and Zelina Vega's Halloween anime costumes on Yes Is Shoot Models. Okay. I mean, I'm done, but I'm not done. I keep up. Yes, I shoot models, not Yes Is Shoot. I'm losing my mind. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Let me just thank you for this gift. This lovely gift. That's so good. A Death Note? Listen, my girl, that suits her. That suits her so much. Look at this angel right here. Ugh. Listen, I've been working out hard in the gym. That's goals right there. Rhea Ripley goals. Hello, everybody. Happy almost Halloween. I've been dressing up at work. I don't know what to wear tomorrow, but my boss did just was Wonder Woman on Monday, so I feel like I've got to like bring it. So we'll see what's work appropriate. So anyways, I thought we'd just talk about DC stuff and give me your recommendations too, because maybe some other people watch this and I'll be like, what are DC stuff to jump into? And so I thought about this for a bit, and I think, my list is not going to be anywhere near a definitive list. I think other people have some really great recommendations. But I was trying to think about, like, for me, what are some of the DC books that, like, I really love that don't require a lot of knowledge of the rest of DC, and then also think about, like, what got me into DC Comics and what got me started. So I made a rushed sort of, like, PowerPoint deal. Because that works. And then I've got some books here like Show Up and stuff too. But I figure we just chat, we just chill, we just talk. Look at this cheesy Comic Sans business. Look at that. Incredible. I didn't mean to put animations on it, but it's too late. So one of the first ones, I mentioned about every time, probably, but Supergirl, One of Tomorrow. I think this is extra apt right now because the movie is being made currently. I really hope this does happen. Even despite my love-hate with Tom King, I think Tom King has written a lot of books that are like perfect, like canon but not canon, good Elseworld stories, good jumping on points that you only need to read. Like it's like a one and done, right? Both from Marvel and DC. I think if, luckily there's a lot of books of his. I'm like, yeah, you could just go and read that and see if you're interested in the character at all. Supergirl One of Tomorrow does not require any real knowledge of the DC universe besides that, like, Supergirl is Kryptonian, which, if you just live and consume any media, you are aware of just like regular Kryptonian deals, right? Where she turns 21 and she wants to drink But of course, on Earth, her powers are too strong, her resistances are too strong. She cannot actually get drunk or tipsy or anything. So she travels very far away to a distant planet to celebrate her 21st birthday. But of course, things don't go as planned. And she ends up being caught up in some, I guess, some interplanetary conflict. Ends up protecting another girl there, but doesn't have the full use of her powers because she's so far away from the sun. So you get this like really unique situation with her where you get to see her be a hero despite not having full abilities. And not only that, but if you're a fan of like old like sci-fi fantasy movies, especially like retro, like some you would see like Mystery Science Theater 3000, where like, oh, it's the future, but they all have like the hairstyles of today. That is like the complete vibe of this. Bilquis Evely's artwork is incredible. The colors are incredible. The writing is great. Like, this is such a unique storytelling of Supergirl. So even though, like, you know, I think this is the kind of book that like gets somebody interested in the characters. Like, oh, I want to see what Supergirl's like normally, you know? And even though there's not a ton of great runs, like it's based for me in my heart, Supergirl runs. It's this one and Supergirl Being Super. Those are my like top Supergirl books. And my dogs are losing it. Hopefully it's a pickup. But those are the ones that like always come to mind. I agree with this pick for me, as someone who hasn't read a lot of DC books. I'm considering picking up the Supergirl omnibus that comes out next year. I super recommend that. Super. One moment. I should have left in my obnoxious yelling for my dogs. This cover looks awesome. I don't know if I was talking about this one when I asked about Supergirl, add to the wish list. This is the one. Like, this is the Supergirl book. And it continues to be one of my top, like, 10 DC comics books. Whenever anyone's like, oh, what DC book should I read? I'm just like, here you go. Supergirl Woman Tomorrow. Here you go. There you go. And I hope the movie's good. But I also definitely recommend Supergirl Being Super. That one is on Earth. Oh my God. Let me know if you can hear my dog and I will see what I can do about it. There's no one else home. But that's more of her, like, you know, learning more about her abilities. It's a younger Supergirl. She's in high school. There's like a really gross, like, zit panel, but it's very fun. It's very relatable. And it gives us like what I think Supergirl is really like. Animations. Look how fun I am today. Super Sons. You know, there's like, I've got recommendations for those too, but I think if you really want to figure out like more about Superman and Batman, there's no better way to do that than through their sons. Like, if you're looking for a fun book that's not tied up in events, right? Superboys is the perfect one. It's the birthday boy, Mark Zimmer. Happy birthday. I hope it's a good one. Yeah, I was going to message you later. Happy birthday. Good afternoon to you too. Give us your DC recommendations for new readers. Super Sons is like, that's the other one for me that I always recommend to people. I think it's one that gets a lot of people more interested in DC. I have a lot of friends that are not Superman fans, which I think is heresy. But they love Super Sons and they get more into these characters through Super Sons. And I'm one that always argues that if you want to learn more about these main characters that are like the heralded main, like Justice League characters in DC, the best way to get to know them is through their side characters. You know, my favorite Batman books are not about Batman properly. They're about the rest of them because it's through them and their relationship with those characters that you get to really know the characters themselves, like their true characterization. And this is so much fun. Like, this is just so much fun. So, yes, I actually don't have this on this list, but because I made it in like 5 seconds. But as far as like Superman books go, especially besides like Super Sons, to me it's Superman for All Seasons, All-Star Superman, and Superman Birthright's my favorite. Like, I never saw myself as a Superman fan at all until I read Superman Birthright. And I think that just harkens to the power, the ability of Mark Waid, honestly. I really feel like you could hand any Mark Waid book to anybody, and that's also like an easy out to, like, you know, what books do you recommend? Anything by Mark Waid. You want to get into comic books? A Mark Waid book, because he really cares about the characters so much. Love Birthright. Seriously, did not care about. I was one of the Superman haters before Birthright, and I have turned around so hard on them. Like that, I'm a forever supporter of Superman. I'm like, he's a much more complex character people give him right for. Another one's Far Sector. I really recommend. So, you know, now not that this gives like your best view of the Green Lanterns going in, but I think there's so much. I think it's a good like way to get someone interested in the cosmic part of DC and get them interested in reading more about Green Lanterns in general. Because even this is so removed that you don't need any knowledge of the Green Lanterns. You know, they have a ring and they make things, but they explain that to you. Far Sector is one that I think is an easy way to get new readers in, especially female like readers as well. Not that you have to be any sort of way to get into anything, but I've had friends that like read Far Sector because look at her, she's incredible, and they were like, you know what, I'm curious about the Green Lantern Corps. I'd like to know more. Like, how does this work? How did we put this together? And I think that's a good way. That's what you need. You just need a hook. A lot of people, they're like, oh, you have to read the big events. You've got to read like your Justice Leagues. You've got to read like your Crisis, anything else. And to me, that can be overwhelming for someone who hasn't read anything. You should read those, like as you kind of go through your journey of DC to get a better view of like the whole picture, because they'll be referred to in these big books. They're like currently the ongoing ones, but it's the one-offs that get you there. And I don't know why we haven't had more of this book. Give me more of this. And the same team. I want N.K. Jemisin and Jamal Campbell. Actually, Jamal Campbell art and anything, please. To me, it's like that's one of the higher ups I just really, really love, along with like Dan Mora. Absolute Power, maybe it's the only Waid book I've actively disliked. That's fair. Second, the Mark Waid. I don't think I've ever read anything by him that wasn't really good. I mean, and he's the sweetest too, but you know, he's someone that is a fan first and foremost. And I think that really shows through his writing. So, okay. I go a few ways in this, but I want to talk about my personal journey getting to DC Comics. And I was getting into comics as Rebirth started. And for me, like, and this came up a little bit on Sunday, New 52, Rebirth, those are, to me, those feel like really good starting points. If you're like, you've read some one-off books and you're ready to like dig into like all the characters, I don't think you can go wrong picking like an era, like New 52 or Rebirth, and just reading all of the different stories, like the same kind of like run or like arc. Because it's going to give you a really great view of all the characters quickly, and it's easy. It's easier to organize your thoughts that way. What I liked about Rebirth, one, it's a lot more hopeful than New 52. New 52 was like a little edgier, I'd say. I love New 52, but like I started with Rebirth. There was this really positive, optimistic outlook. There was a little bit of a mystery, and it really made it a lot easier for me to dig in. I was like, okay, I'm just looking for this like these spines, right? I'm looking for these spines, these numbers, the way everything is gathered. This really worked well for me, and it helped me like really start to curate what characters I liked, and it was really readily available. And plus, if you get something like DC Universe, all of these are out and available for you to read, so you can just dig through a bunch of these, just kind of like a DC charcuterie board, if you will. Just start with some main characters and see what you like. I wouldn't say all of them are winners, but I think there's a lot of really good stuff in there. Thank you. You know, I always feel weird when I say Rebirth is my favorite. But it really, really is, like the hopefulness of that. Because I fell off a lot more so once they kind of went their edgier way, right? And the Rebirth stuff started to fall. I am hopeful for the new DC Absolute Universe. I'm hoping that it will reignite my love for all of these characters again, instead of having just to read one-offs. listen, we all miss those Rebirth Deluxe editions. You know, DC had it right for a little while. Because Marvel is so good with their branding of their deluxe editions and their books and their collected editions. Everything matches, pretty well. And DC Deluxes look so good on the shelf, minus that one Green Arrow that they inverted the colors for whatever reason. I love how they look on my shelf. I loved collecting them. Bummer that there's not a lot of like continuity now with those, but it was beautiful. I do like a lot of the DC omnibuses across the board for how they look because they are unique, but there's nothing like a set of books that all match. Rebirth had better titles. The only New 52 book I absolutely love even today is Wonder Woman. I've grown out of Court of Owls and all, but New 52 Wonder Woman is really good. I think that's fair. I enjoy Court of Owls, but it's one of those that like New 52 Wonder Woman. I mean, it was killer. It was great. I also really loved Catwoman at the time. I love the way that those crossed over. I liked Batgirl, but I'm a newer reader, so I started with her post Oracle, and so, but I understand how people feel about that. I do have one in 52 on this list that I absolutely love and recommend, but I'll get to that second. So yeah, we already talked about Superman. I think there's so many good like self-contained Superman books. Superman Birthright, Superman for All Seasons, All-Star Superman. There's so many good ones. And then once you read those, then you can dig into like a bunch of the other things. I love Rebirth Superman personally. I think that it's also very hopeful, like just great family time. Same with not Superman, but Detective Comics and Rebirth. Animal Man New 52. I didn't know anything about I hadn't read Swamp Thing yet. I didn't know anything about the red and the green in DC. If you have someone in your life or you're interested in more like body horror or like horror books, or just kind of just different, I guess, Animal Man is such a great choice, especially New 52 Animal Man. I love this series. I wasn't expecting this ever from DC, and I fell for this hard. Now, part of that's probably Jeff Lemire. Props to him. I cannot recommend this enough. Okay, Animal Man 52 is I forgot about it for a second there. It's so good. They got an omnibus format. I haven't dug into any other Animal Man. I've only read this one. I've been obsessed with him. I should read more Animal Man, but so good. And, because it is loosely tied to some other things going on in DC, as you read, these other characters are interesting and you'll kind of move through. And that's the beauty of any of these. I have friends that are like, oh, I'm just getting started. I don't really know what to do. I was like, just read one book. Pick one. If it has a side character in there, then you'll just sort of travel along and you'll start finding other characters you love until you have a breadth of knowledge that you did not expect. Roy Harper's one of those characters for me. Reading Roy Harper's stuff and then falling in love with Donna Troy, and then kind of just making my way through there. Worked great. And I think Harley Quinn Gotham City Sirens is another good one. Any of these, you have Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn and Catwoman, because all their stories kind of just tend to meet up in a lot of cool ways. It's easy to get into one of them and kind of make your way along one of the other ones as well. And I think the current, the Rebirth Gotham, oh gosh, bleh. Books like Birds of Prey, Gotham City Sirens, whether that be David in 52, Rebirth now, those are character groups that I know I'm gonna have fun with regardless. I'm gonna have a good time with them. They will tie into the greater stories, but overall they're more about having fun and they're less serious, which I can't say for a lot of teen books. Those my quick little side shows, but I have some. Speaking of Wade, World's Finest, Batman Superman World's Finest. If you want a book that feels like it very much harkens to these original like storylines for these characters while feeling fresh, like having newer art, fresher writing. World's Finest is like it's perfect. It's like having your Batman year one, your early years, the early years of Batman and Superman and all these other Justice League members and the Teen Titans. Plus, you've got beautiful Dan Mora art. It's a good time, and getting to see the beginnings of their friendship is great. Like between this, because World Finest I think is still continuing, and there's World Finest Teen Titans. I have been very happy with this book. And again, it's Mark Waid, so you get this like you're gonna get drawn in by the characters very quickly. And there's enough like side characters in here that you're gonna quickly move around and fall in love with some of the other like main crew. So I wanted to recommend more Wonder Woman books, but I can see where some of those don't feel as new reader friendly. I think New 52 Wonder Woman is a lot more new reader friendly. And is very interesting if you are into more like Greek myths, the Greek gods. That's a good like starting point. For me, because I loved Wonder Woman so much after watching the movie, I didn't care where it was from. I didn't care about having any context. I was going to read everything. Yeah, I think Historia is a really interesting one. Despite not being like Wonder Woman focused, it's great for the whole like lore of it, for sure. I think, of course we have like the Rebirth Wonder Woman. I really enjoyed as well. There's a lot of really great Wonder Woman stories in there. To me, you don't really need the context for what else is going on, but I could see, or maybe for some, it doesn't feel as one-off. What is one-off is Wonder Woman Dead Earth. As far as like Elseworlds, new types of stories, if you're like, oh, but like comic books aren't like hardcore or cool, just give them Wonder Woman Dead Earth and be like, oh, you want something like edgy and cool? Wonder Woman Dead Earth is a great pick for that. A lot of the like Black Label stuff, I think there's some really good picks in there. This one looked inappropriate, the one I just opened up to. I think it's a good like pick as far as variety. Not a pick that would like get you into the character as much, but like I think it's a good melding between. But also Wonder Woman. It's not year one. What is it? What is that one where she's like, what is it called? Is it called Year One? Earth Year One? No. Wonder Woman Year One is good, but is it Wonder Woman Earth One? Yes, Wonder Woman Earth One. That one I also really enjoyed as a newer reader. Oh, I mean, if you're talking about the best story, it's that one. That's absolutely the best one. That's my favorite. Personally. As you said, New 52 Wonder Woman is a good entry point for people who like Greek mythology, like the Circe novel or Lore Olympus webtoon. Like for you who don't read hard sci-fi fantasy, absolutely. Oh, I love Circe novel. I loved it. Yeah, I feel like if I was to get people in the comic books that liked that, I'd be like, okay, Wonder Woman's your entry point for sure. Man, I love Circe. I've been playing a lot of Hades 1 and 2. So I've been thinking a lot about Greek lore. Yeah, Hikatea, Historia, Year One, Black and Gold, all good ones. Earth One I really do like, but I think that's because I think she looks really cool and sexy. Honest, I think it's because she looks really sexy in it. But also, it feels like probably what Marston, the original creator, would have wanted. The art's great. I mean, look at her. And we got these new, like, the DC Compact comics. I'm gonna have to pick up some of those. Don't judge me. And also Nightwing. I think Tom Taylor's Nightwing is a great Nightwing jumping on point. The art is so good. You don't they'll explain to you what's happened to Nightwing. You don't have to know a lot. It's just, and there's a dog. It's great. Nightwing for me feels like how I felt reading, oh gosh, that really good Hawkeye run in Marvel, like the one I really like with all the cool art. It's gone. Anyways, yeah, the young adult graphic novels can be nice entry points too. Absolutely, there's some really, really good ones. There are some stinkers. There's some like not good DC ones, but there's also there's a ton of really great DC young adult graphic novels that I think, like, if you're reading getting started, absolutely. Like there's a lot of good Harley Quinn ones, and even for the ones that aren't as good, yes, Matt Fraction, Hawkeye, thank you. Like, I didn't care about Hawkeye until reading that book, and I think for some people, if they're not into DC, that could be Nightwing for them. I contend from Grayson to now, we are in the golden age of Nightwing, minus the Rick era. Always minus the Rick era. We don't talk about it. There's a Wild Elliot. But yeah, I think those are my, like, off the top of my head ones. I mean, if you're looking to get more into Batman, you can find any list about Batman. Like, there's a ton of books that are like great jumping on. Okay, jumping on points for not Long Halloween. Batman Year One. There's tons. Also, Batgirl Year One's a great jumping on point. A lot of Year One stuff for Year Ones. I think you're gonna be good. But yeah, I think those for me are the big ones. Find an era of DC, just start in there, honestly, and then once you're interested enough in the characters, then go back and read the big events and read some of their, like, what people write online about their favorite runs of those characters. Just find the characters you like and you'll be fine. And every time I'm like, oh, I'm not going to like this other character, I read a book about them, and then I'm in. So this happened over and over and over again. It'll happen again. I am going to go and end early today because I'm going to be back tomorrow at 5. And also, I've got Old Reader, New Reader at 8. We're talking about Hellboy, the Crooked Man. So I hope you join. Hang out with me on Near Mint Condition. I'll be chilling. And tomorrow's show, I don't know. If you have any recommendations of stuff you'd like to hear about, I'm thinking about just chill, chat, stream. I wish I had a better one for, I had recommendations for Marvel. I don't. So maybe I'll think of a different medium. But thank you guys for hanging out. Check out our sponsor on StockTrades.com. And if you're around 8 p.m. Eastern, come on over to Near Mint Condition. Hang out. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye.